Did you ever get the sudden urge to play an old game that you never played before? Or one that you have played before but want more of a challenge? For me, I had a friend who had all the Ratchet and Clank games, and he completed them all 100% before they even had achievements. Following in his footsteps, I wanted to take on my own challenge and get all the retro achievements for Ratchet and Clank. Retro Achievements is a website that adds achievements to retro style games and consoles. And at first, I was hesitant to actually play Ratchet and Clank since they had 178 achievements. But after looking through all the achievements, I came to realize that a lot of these you can get through progression by playing the game. Each weapon has a set of achievements that you have to kill 60 enemies on the first 10 planets or the last 9 planets. So just to save time and for easier editing, I refer to them as V1 and V2. You will also get info bots in the game, which plays a little cutscene which gives you coordinates to the next planet you will want to visit. You can also collect gold bolts on each level for another achievement. So with all that out of the way, let's begin our story. Our story begins like any great sci-fi story. A little robot discovers a big bad evil guy's plan, barely escapes to crash land on a planet which also happens to be where our main protagonist lives. I take control of Ratchet and traverse through the introductory level where I learn to run, jump, and wrench my way to victory. I reach Clank, who Ratchet agrees to team up with and help save the galaxy. And I get the first achievement of the game as I head off to Novalis. I land on Novalis, where I can pick up our first level base achievement that requires us to get a ship while skipping a level cutscene. See, normally in this level you would fight up to this bridge and watch a cutscene of it blowing up. However, you can skip this cutscene and a part of the level by performing a speedrun strat. I had no idea how to do this. Luckily enough, on the Retro Achievement site, you can click each achievement, and usually in the comments section people post how they got it or at least give you tips. For this one, someone posted a video which shows how to do the skip. So after a couple of tries, I pull off the strat, and after clearing out these bad guys, we get 2 achievements. One for obtaining a ship from the level, and another for doing the cutscene skip. I make my way back to the ship and head off to the next planet, Kerwan. After landing on Kerwan, I immediately go wrench through some baddies. I grab the first weapon-based achievement, Wrench version 1. And after this, I go back to the shop and buy the Pyromancer / achievement. I decide to take on the obstacle course, which helps you learn the basic jump mechanics of the game. And after completing it, this robot's supposed to give you the swing shot, but she will only if you fork over 1,000 bolts. Luckily for me, I had enough bolts at this time, so I pay the robot and grab the swing shot and achievement along with it. The swing shot allows us to grapple towards these green orbs or swing between the yellow orbs. I swing shot my way back to the start of the course and continue on until we reach Big Al, who agrees to upgrade Clank with a helipack for some bolts. I agree to the deal and get the helipack achievement in the process. The helipack allows us to high and long jump, which comes in very useful in a lot of places. After helipacking my way to the train station, I beat up these bad guys and grab the info box / achievement. I quickly double back to the train station so I can grab the first gold bolt of the stage. I hop on the train again because if you stay on the right side of the train, you can find this hidden swing shot and get the achievement Hidden Swing. After grabbing this, I head back to their ship and head out for the next planet, Eudora. Upon landing on Eudora, the level-based achievement Wrench to Combat starts, which requires us to play through the level until we reach the suck cannon, defeat 5 red lumberjacks, and not get hit. It doesn't say it in the achievement, but you also have to use your wrench and no weapons on the other enemies in the level as well. My suggestion for this one would be to play through the level, learn the layout, until you reach the room with the 3 lumberjacks, then reset the game and keep trying. Another tip would be to crouch and throw your wrench, since you can hit the lumberjacks and stay out of their range. Took me a couple tries, but I managed to do it and grab 2 achievements at the same time. The Wrench to Combat and the Suck Cannon achievement. I can't explore any more in this world since I have nothing to get us past the store at this moment. So I grab the blaster from the store and achievement before I head back to Novalis. On Novalis, we head through the cave on the right of the store and channel our inner Mario and platform our way through the sewers and get some plumber fan service as our reward. I pay 500 bolts for some more, but only get an infobot / achievement instead. I slip and slide my way back to the ship and head out to Aridia. Once I land, I play through the level until I come to a fork in the road. I decide to head right this time and platform my way until I run into Skip's manager, who agrees to manage us but only if we can prove ourselves in a hoverboard race. The only problem is I don't have a hoverboard at the moment, so I take the Tube Express back to the ship and find Skip's crash pod. Skip is willing to give us a hoverboard from the ship, but only if we get rid of the local sand shark population, which I agree to without a second thought. Skip keeps his end of the deal and hands over the hoverboard, which I can't use at the moment, so I decided to head back to the earlier fork in the road and head left. which leads me to a swing shot course. Nothing really challenging, but the last room of the course has an achievement if you get through it without touching the ground. This one took me a few tries until I figured out when you use the swing shot to a green orb and let go before you reach it, the momentum carries you in that direction for like a second. So practice and you'll eventually get it like I did and get the swing it achievement. We obtain the trespasser / achievement in the next room. The trespasser allows us to open locked doors via playing a light switch minigame. I grab the gold bolt below before I make my way back to the ship and head for Eudora, where I can now open the door that I couldn't before. After some platforming and hacking, Clank squares up with another robot only for him to realize Ratchet would make it a 2v1. He runs away but leaves us an info bot for the Blarg station and achievement. So I don't mind. I get back to the ship and take off. Upon arrival, I hack open the door that leads to a Clank session. Don't go in yet, but then decide to buy the Taunter and get its achievement. I then proceed to carry out the Emperor's will and purge all the Xenos on the ship, right after I survive a fierce kitten attack. With all my remaining limbs, I platform my way through the level to the next weapon shop, where I pick up the Glove of Doom and achievement. In the same room, I hop up and go through this tunnel to grab a gold bolt. From there, I finish up killing the enemies and get the Suck Cannon V1 achievement. We continue our purge until we come across the Alien Queen, who I would say is the first boss of the game. The achievement I'm focusing on is Girl Trouble, where you have to defeat the Alien Queen with just your range. This one isn't too hard and took me a couple tries. My suggestion is to hit her 3 times, move, dodge her attack. I suggest trying to round them all up so you can kill as many as you can in one swing. Practice a bit and you'll eventually get it like I did. In the next room, I help a scientist who offers to sell me their grind shoes, which I immediately do, since in my mind, they're like the soap shoes from Sonic Adventure, and I always wanted a pair of them in real life. Also, we get its achievement. After we grind around at the speed of sound, back to the starting of the level. As we explore outside his Clank themselves plays similarly to Ratchet. Just your jump and attack range is a lot shorter, and instead of using weapons, Clank gets a cool feature that allows him to control small robots, kind of like Pikmin. So we break free some minions who help us make short work of this alien. After I tell him to enter the gate that lowers his force field and allows us to grab the Hydro Displacer and achievement. It allows us to transport a large amount of water from one place to another. I head back to the start and take the shuttle ship to the last section of this level. After boarding the alien ship and purging all the Xenos within, I find a big red shiny button and find out why you don't ever touch the red button. But I manage to escape the ship before the timer runs out and snag an info bot and achievement in the process. I hop back into our ship and make my way to Rygar. I decide to take the right path, where after some swing shotting and blowing up some badniks, I take a taxi downtown, kill a couple guys, and get the Blaster V1 achievement. I also meet a nice individual who is a total legit salesman and offers to sell me the best weapon in the game in my opinion. The only problem is it costs 150,000 bolts and I only got 7,000, so I ain't getting it anytime soon. I grab the gold bolt and burn all the enemies to get the Pyrocerator V1 achievement to make myself feel better. I eventually meet up with the hoverboard girl, who will give me a prize if I come first in a hoverboard race. I accept the terms, not for the prize, but for the achievements that are in this race. I used my first couple races to learn the course and get the box Bird Quest achievement in the process for breaking 100 boxes on the course. So after winning the race, we get the Platinum Zoomerator, which gives us a boost gauge and we fill it by doing tricks. The next achievement I go for is the Speedy achievement, which you get by finishing a hoverboard race in under a minute and 35 seconds. But first, I quickly pull off the Twisty McMarks trick in a race to get the Tricky achievement. For the Speed achievement, the only advice I can really give is learn how to cut corners, like the corner after the big jump, to save you a few seconds. It took me a few tries, but I eventually managed to get it with a time of 1:34. I showed the hoverboard girl my platforming skills by doing 5 side jumps in front of her and grabbing a pair of Devastators achievements. I head back to the ship and take the left path this time, which leads me to my first Hydro Placer puzzle of the game. Very simple, take it out here, put it there. I was not ready to run through a tunnel while the ground below me filled up with water, which led to my eventual death. After a few tries, I beat my Sonic the Hedgehog fear and found Quark's trailer, but we can't get inside unless we bribe the guard. After greasing his fingers, we finally get to meet Quark to ask for help in defeating Drek, but instead, he gives us an info bot / achievement to the planet Umbris to see if we are hero qualified. So I hop on the taxi back to the ship and get the Mind Glove / achievement before heading to Umbris. Honestly, there's not much to say about Umbris. It's made like one giant obstacle course. There is achievement for beating this level under a certain amount of time, but it's easier to do so once we come back with some better weapons. So for now, I play through Quark's course, get the Bomb Glove B1 achievement, and meet up with Quark, who then proceeds to betray us and escapes off while we fight off the Snagglebees. This fight isn't too hard, shoot him with whatever weapons you want, and when the red shield appears, lead him over a bridge. He'll fall in the lava. Do this 3 times to slay the beast and get an info boss / achievement as a reward. I start Batalia by getting the Devastator / achievement. Head down the right path to a grind rail segment where I get 2 achievements by first getting to the end of the rail without getting hit. I even do this first try and popped off a little on stream. And I get an info bot from this guy for the second achievement. I take the warp pad back to the start and go down the forward path, where after I beat some badniks, grab a gold bolt, and raise some bridges, I meet up with the commanding officer who wants us to get into a turret and shoot down the enemy air support. But we can't reach the turret yet since we don't have the magna boots. So I take an info bot / achievement for now. I head back to the ship and make my way to Gasper. First thing I do upon arriving in Gasper is I jump into this turret and shoot down 5 ships for the gunner achievement. After that, I shoot down the wall and continue down the path while getting the Glove of Doom, Mind Glove, and Devastator V2 achievements. I shoot down the last wall, walk past an active crime scene, collect the pilot's helm and achievement. The pilot's helm allows us to fly ships. After that, I head back to the starting area and jump down to the lower right path for another level specific achievement. This one's pretty easy since all you gotta do is blow up these gas lines, which explodes the entire ship. Do that while platforming down this path and you will get the Destroyed achievement, and you can pick up a gold bolt at the end as a bonus. After that, I decide to quickly head back to Skip's manager for our Sonic Summoner gadget and achievement. I choose Orixon as the next planet I visit. Orixon is an interesting planet since the air is so toxic it would make some of your exes jealous, but Ratchet can't leave the ship without an O2 mask. So for now we play as Clank.
Oh brother, this guy stinks!
After a couple of Pikmin sections with Clank, I arrive in the room that contained the Mag Boots / achievement. I take the right path and continue my Pikmin simulator by escorting my robot friends through a bomb field, lasers, over real acid, and finally take out this entire area which allows the turrets to shoot down this wall, which gets us another info boss / achievement. I head back down to the ship and back to Batalia since now we have the Magni Boots. I first get the Walloper achievement and put on the Sonic Summer Hat that we got from Skip's manager, summon a Sand Mouse, since the achievement requires us to destroy all the tanks on this level with a Sand Mouse. The first 2 tanks on the original way to the commanding officer, the last 2 are in the fortress that we can now reach with the Magni Boots. On my first attempt, the Sand Mouse despawned after killing the first tank. Quickly thinking, I opened the door before the last tank could get a hit on me. Take the taxi back to the starting area, grab another Sand Mouse, go back to the fortress, and kill the last remaining tank to get the Eat Lead achievement. I meet up with our old plumber friend from Novalis who wants us to hop in a turret and blast ships, which I can never say no to. While blasting down the big ships, I managed to shoot down a smaller ship and get the Accuracy at Counts achievement. I finish up shooting down the bigger ship and the plumber gives us a metal detector / achievement as a reward. When this bolt symbol appears, you can use the metal detector to find hidden bolt deposits for extra money. There is an achievement for finding 100 of these deposits, so I suggest you look for them when they appear. I shoot down this robot to get the Popia Some Small Ones Fleeing First achievement, which you get from shooting down 2 bolt thieves in this level. I only found out that Sand Mouse shot down the first one coming out of this building, which is after the first bridge, while editing this video. I jump back into the ship and head down to the planet Poketaru. The resort owner greets me as I land and agrees to give over the O2 mask, but only if we get rid of the surrounding Blarg ships. And the only way to do that is to escort the owner through the level by defeating all the enemies on the path and boat. I do manage to get the Blaster and Suck Cannon B2 achievements during this section. After I get rid of all the wildlife on the resort, the owner won't give us the mask until we open the door first. And the only way to do that is to visit Bob and get the next Clank upgrade, which we do and get the Thruster Pack / achievement. The Thruster Pack works similar to the Helipack, but now we can perform the ground pound on these switches and open the door to the ship. After shooting down all the Blarg ship, the owner finally gives us the O2 mask and achievement. I head back to the starting area and take the teleport to the Joe Y Resort sewers, where after I do some water and door puzzles, I pick up the last few kills needed for the Pyrocerator V2 achievement. The guy in the next room offers to trade us his Persuader gadget but wants rare titanium metal, which we can only find on the planet called Hoven. I head back to Orixon since now I have the O2 mask, which allows Ratchet to breathe and explore on the planet. While exploring, I arrive to our old Fork and Road friend and see an infobot down the right path, so like a moth through the flame, I follow the infobot. There's a force field further down this path where you can use the taunter to lure a bug into it and get the "Hey, over here" achievement. And after a bit more chasing, I finally cornered the infobot, which gives us the location for Hoven and achievement. I decided to do a little bit of achievement cleanup and head back to Poketaru, where I get the V2 achievements for the Bomb Glove, Walloper, and Wrench. I head back to Levalis to grab the V1 of the Walloper and Devastator achievements. From there, I head back to Kirwan to blow up this Quark statue for the Quarktastic achievement. And if you jump glide from the spot and land between the giant robot's legs, you can get the Strike a Pose achievement. I also take down this blimp with the Devastator by the ship to get the Blimpy achievement. I can now enter the Clank only section of the Blarg station with the O2 mast to grab another gold bolt, which gets us the gold bolt achievement for this level. I finish my cleanup streak by heading back to Pokataru to buy the Fizzbomb Slash achievement and use it to shoot down 3 Blarg ships for the Alien Invasion achievement. I head back to Orkson and hit down the left pass at the crossroads this time, and after some platforming, I find out it leads me to a vending machine where I can buy health upgrades. I get the first health upgrade but lack funds for the second, so instead I get the Glove of Bomb V1 achievement. Finally, after all the cleanup, I head to Hoven where I do something out of ordinary and head down the left path at the start, where after getting jumped by some guys, I put on my ice skates and grab the last couple bolts deposits with the metal detector for the Pappy's Penny Pinching Professional achievement. After doing some tightrope speed skating, I find a driller who gives us a piece of raritanium for Ratchet fixing his drill. Before jumping back down to the ship, I quickly shoot down 5 helicopters for the Whirlybird achievement. I glide back down and make my way forward, but if you go past these trees and kill all the ankle biters in this area, you can grab the Pest Control achievement. I also wall jump up here to grab a gold bolt, then continue my way down to the crossroads, head right and hop up on the floating platform to a water puzzle. After beating the Water Temple Simulator, I watch as Clank rizzes up a lady who gives me the Hydro Pack and achievement for only 2,000 bolts. We go back to the crossroads and head down the left path, where after some platforming, I find reach a turret and shoot down the giant Blarg ship and get the Infobot Slash achievement for my troubles. Now that I have the Raritarium, I head back to Pokataru to trade it for the Persuader, which allows us to buy weapons at a discounted price. You want to give me a discount achievement is what I'm really after. I decide to go for the Buried Treasure achievement since I got the Hydro Pack in Hoven. While doing that achievement, I happen to find a cavern and following the path, I find the only gold bolt on this planet and grab the Jowai Resort achievement. I hop back in the water and find the last few boxes for the Buried Treasure achievement. I go back to the area behind where I got the Persuader and ground pound 4 big or medium guys to get the Squash the Squish achievement. I then decided it was time for me to get my revenge on Quark, so I head to Gemlik Base. Gemlik Base is kind of like Umbris, where I would say it's just one giant obstacle course. But in order to progress, I have to shoot down these glowing towers to lower force fields. There's a cool part in this level where I dropped down into a large room filled with enemies and had to kill them all before getting swarmed. After that, I platform my way to Quark, where it turns out this will be an airship battle. The fight isn't too hard itself, dodge the mine, shoot Quark's missiles, and eventually I take him down for an Infobot Slash achievement. After that, I head back to my ship and head to Ultanis. Ultanis is an interesting level since due to all the lightning storms, Clank gets zapped and has to stay in the ship, making this a Ratchet only planet. Despite the fact that Ratchet is also carrying a lot of metal. Their ship is made of metal, and so are the enemies. I choose to ignore the game's logic and go down the forward path at the start, where I saw a gold bolt hiding away up top, so I zipped up there to grab it. There's also a sand mouse up here, and you can summon it for a protective little guy achievement. Sand mouse joins me into the grind rail section, where at the end I can buy an Infobot Slash achievement for 2,000 bolts. From there, I go back to my ship, whip out my Visibomb, and shoot down 3 ships for the Blast 'em achievement. I take the taxi to the upper city and solid snake my way through the somewhat stealth section of the level, where at the end I get the Morpho Ray Slash achievement, Nobody Calls Me a Chicken. I head back to the starting area, slap on my Magna Boots, and float away to the next part of the level. This section is a combination of both slippery, ice skating sections and Magna Boots, travel sections. My favorite part of this section is when you have to jump over the electric gates while on ice. It reminded me a lot of Crash Bandicoot for some reason. I also grabbed the gold bolt in the section that's on this little ledge to the right, but after some more electric gate jumping, I run into an old foe who I thought was dead. Never mind, it's just Steve, who's willing to sell us a Gadgetron PDA, which allows you to buy ammo wherever you are, just at a higher cost. So I pick it up for 1,000 and get the achievement, It's Quark, Never Mind. After saying goodbye to my new best friend Steve, I head back to the starting area only to witness a drive-by on the middle statue. Luckily for me, it revealed a button which itself revealed a new swing shot path. After swing shotting my way through this path, I pick up a gold bolt for my efforts. And since I unlocked all the pathways on this level, I decided it was time to shoot down all these lampposts for the Shattered Glass achievement. I jump into the ship and head for QR2. Upon landing, I take the left path, where after I swim through a water section made easy with the Hydro Pack, we pick up the Bulk Grabber Slash achievement. The Bulk Grabber just increases the bulk gathering range. After that, I head down the slope and swing shot over this gap, where I battle through some baddies, meet up with Adam Savage from Mythbusters, who turns Clank into a giant robot. From this point, I just had Megas XLR theme going on in my head while smashing some other robots.
Nice.
And what's also nice is that I grabbed the infobot/achievement. I hopped back into my ship and set coordinates for Kalibu 3. Upon landing, upon going left at the start, I come across the ground rail section. I decided to learn the course this time around, and after hitting these 3 switches, a path opens up where I grab a gold bolt, finish the course, and watch Clank rizz up another girl for the map-o-matic/achievement. I decided to run back the course since the achievement for completing it without getting hit, which I do, called the heavy traffic. I double back to take the right path, and after clearing some rooms that spawn enemies, I come across Garrison from Deltarune, who offers us a sponsorship, but only if we win a hoverboard race. So filled with hope, determination, and using rockets that are only in this race, we easily win, and Garrison gives us a Hollow Guys gadget, which allows us to culture appropriate the robots into thinking we are one of them. I enter another race to quickly get 4,500 points worth of tricks and get the Magician achievement. With the Hollow Guys, I head back to QR2, where after convincing some robots to let me into their home only to instantly kill them, I meet Clank's mother, who gives us an infobot/achievement. I head back to the ship and to Orkson, where I grab the second health upgrade and achievement roid it out. After that, I head off to Drek's fleet. The first path I take is the water time trial, where if you don't make it at the end, the water turns electric and you die. But after learning the course, I managed to complete it without getting hit and getting the Careful Cruise achievement. And in the same room, we also grabbed the Cobot/achievement. I take the portal back to the starting area to the missile cruiser, and after completing another Hollow Guys section and killing all the robots in this section, I get the sneaky achievement. I hop into another portal and head outside into space, where the only way to get past these lasers is to take them out with a ship. After doing a few strafing runs and taking out the turrets, we make our way back into the ship and cockpit to get the ambush on Drek, only to find out that he has escaped, but I get an infobot/achievement for my troubles. After doubling back through the laser room and killing some more enemies, I get a go boat. I return back to my ship and head to the last level in the game for a showdown with Drek. Like Umbrus and Gemlik Base, Velden is just one giant obstacle course where I learned the layout. I ran through the entire level without dying and got to the first phase of the boss fight. I got ready for another epic robot rumble, but Drek fires a shrink beam. Clank goes back to regular size. But we get the Titan achievement for getting to this point in the level in one go without dying. From here, the boss fight is pretty straightforward. Dodge his attacks, while you shoot him down with yours. Direct attack with missiles in the first phase, mines and missiles in the second phase. While his third last phase, you have to ground pound this button before the timer goes out and you die. He also spawns these little mine robots and has a flame shield that burns you if you get too close. But after learning his tricks, I take him down, save the galaxy, and get the Best Buds Forever achievement. The game gives you the option to either start a new game plus, where you get to keep all your health and the weapons you bought from the store, or start before you beat Drek on Velden. I decided not to start a new game yet, and go back level by level to get the gold boats and level specific achievements. On Novalis, I found the 3 boats and got the Tobruk Crater achievement. I found it easy to shoot down a fighter from the bridge with the Devastator for the Take Aim achievement, and I grabbed the Visibomb version 1 achievement while I was here. On Kerwan, I found the last 2 remaining bolts and boxes to get the Metropolis achievement and the bolts between the cushion achievements for destroying all the boxes of Kerwin at least once. From there, I managed to clear the obstacle course in under a minute and 8 seconds to earn the Rio Mankin's Swing without silly toys achievements. The only advice I could give is to learn how to wall jump properly so you end up on the side closest to the next part where you want to go. On Eudora, I switched back to the helipack and grabbed the only gold bolt on the planet for the Lock Inside achievement. On Aradia, I shot down 3 transport ships for the Transport achievement, found the 3 gold bolts for the Outpost 11 achievement. I head back to the Alien Queen on Blarg Station while picking up the Morpho-Ray V1 achievement, while morphing the Alien Queen herself for the Damn Morpheus, What You About to Do achievement. On Realgar, I swim through a tunnel to find the last bolt for the Blackwater City achievement, and morph a tank into a chicken for the Cluck Cluck achievement. I head back to Batalia and wall jump on the building near the start to grab the last gold bolt for the Fort Krontos achievement. After jumping into the Snarlack pit on Gasper, I cleared out enemies to find the last gold bolt for the Blarg Depot achievement. I used the Visibombs to clear out this tunnel on Orkson and platform my way to the last gold bolt for the Kroger Refinery achievement. On Hoven, I got the last gold bolt in the Water Rising section for the Bomb Factory achievement. I used Visibombs to blow up the cargo ships on top of the Gemlik base. There's also one in the area where you fight all the enemies, so don't forget that one for the Sitting Ducks achievement. I went through the hole near the acid to find the only gold bolt for the Gemlik base achievement. A cool secret about this world on revisiting, if you go to the area where you meet up with Quark, you'll find a runway. If you will jump here and take the platform, you'll reach the golden weapons room where you can spend both regular and gold bolts for upgraded versions of certain weapons. On your first playthrough, you can only get 5 gold weapons, but more will be available on a New Game Plus. So for now, I pick up the gold suck cannon, glove of doom, blaster, bomb glove, the current bolts I have. I shimmy my way on the platform before we meet Steve on Oltanis for the last gold bolt and Gore the City achievement. The only time we use the Cobot is to open the door on Quattro to grab this last Cobalt for the Robot Factory achievement. On Calibo 3, I head to the Gadgetron employee big room filled with chickens and the last gold bolt for the Gadgetron site achievement. I go back to Drake's fleet and go through the water course section, but after swimming through the last 3 rings, I double back to the last gold bolt for the Drake's fleet achievement. On Belden, I used the taunter to lure this frog onto a switch to let me grab a gold bolt. I had to do some platforming for the last 2, but got the Kaizel Plateau achievement. I fell down the side of Umbra's obstacle course to grab the last gold bolt for the Quark's headquarters achievement. I went back and got the gold Pyrosator / achievement since I had enough regular bolts. From here, I went back to Orkson, where if you shoot the bug through this hole in the wall with a blaster, you'll get the sniper achievement. I got the gold Can Suck version 2 achievement on the starting area of Vilden, which I used a lot to farm enemies later on. I went back to Kroan, where I switched back to the helipad, and without letting go of the crouch button, I long/high jumped my way, killed 6 Blar soldiers with only the Pyrosator and taking no damage for the Flippy McFlying Flame Place achievement. From here, I finally grabbed the Decoy and Drone Glove for their achievements. I used the first 2 planets as a good way to farm the version 1 achievements of weapons, and get the gold Pyrosator, Blaster, and Bomb Glove. I went back to Calibo 3, where entering the first room on the right path, you can get the achievement Kabumi Vakumi for clearing the room with just the suck cannon and only firing 3 shots. I cleared this room without actually using any weapons at all. It just took a little longer to lure the enemies onto their own bombs. I headed back to Belden and killed 5 guards with only my wrench to get the Going Commando achievement. And since this was my last skill achievement, I got the Truly Skilled achievement with it. I headed back to Umbris, and after taking the advice from the comments section, I take out the first few spewing mine turrets with the Visibomb. The only other advice I could give is to jump on the right side during the gun turret barbed wire part. Use your Devastator to shoot the 2 fish in this section and skip refilling the water in the last section. I did these things and got the Welcome to the Ring of Hero achievement with a time of 3 minutes and 3 seconds. So keep trying a couple times and you'll get it too. On Gimmick Base, I used a taunter on the enemies around the flamethrowers to get them killed and got the taunter version 2 achievement. While on the same level, I decided to go for the Alright Where's My Darn Tang achievement, where you have to get 30 kills with enemies without using a weapon and without dying. This achievement I probably would say is the achievement that took me the longest to get out of this game. My plan was to use a taunter gadget, since it doesn't count as a weapon, to herd the flying robots into the flamethrowers for more friendly fire damage, but didn't have enough by the gunship room. Eventually I found out for some reason, maybe it's because I was using the gold Glove of Doom, but I could get 4 to 5 kills on the first group of enemies and still count towards the achievement. So I would do that and switch to the taunter for the rest of the level. And on my last attempt, I was 1 kill short and down to my last hit, where I had to get one of these flamethrower guys to kill each other. The only problem was they were too close, and after a few close calls, one flying robot fell down here, got burned by one of the flamethrowers to get me the achievement. I celebrated by grabbing the Tesla Claw and farming for the version 1 and 2 achievements along with it. I also managed to get the Visibomb version 2 achievement during this time. On Blark Station, I went back to the shop room before the Alien Queen, and like on Gamlik Base, I used the Taunter to lure the small aliens into the flamethrowers to get the Taunter version 1 achievement. After that, I headed back to Belden and farmed the starting area for the gold Bomb Glove, Blaster, Pyrosator, Glove of Doom, version 2 achievements. I started for what I didn't know at the time would be my most frustrating achievement of this game, the SMD achievement. For this achievement, you have to hit Drek during the last boss fight with a suck cannon 30 times and without taking damage. I would say the gold suck cannon is required since it can hold up to 10 shots while the regular cannon can only hold up to 5. So I would start each attempt by sucking up the 9 frogs on the left side where you respawn if you die. And since there's a leaderboard for this section, I would use that as a counter to count how many times I hit the boss each attempt. This achievement is a little bugged since if you switch to any weapon besides the suck cannon after you start an attempt, it'll reset the counter. I also read this happens if you grab a ledge by accident. Also using the leaderboard counter did end up backfiring on me, since according to the comments, the hits you send Drake into the next phase do not count towards the achievement, but they do on the counter. So in the run where I got 30 hits on the counter, it was actually only 28 hits towards the achievement. I did not know this, and after a couple more failed attempts, I decided to take it as a loss while actually make a ticket on the website itself. I decided to start a new game to shake it off and get the rest of the achievements. Honestly, there's not much for me to say during this part since a lot of it was just me playing through the game again, and now that I knew where everything was and what to do, made this playthrough a lot quicker. Another cool thing about New Game Plus is that there's a teleport to the gold room on Novalis by the ship, and there's a lot more gold weapons in New Game Plus. So I got the gold mine, the gold decoy glove, and the gold morpher ray, and their V1 achievements. At this point, I saved up for the rhino and forgot to record the footage, so here's a dramatic reenactment.
I could blow up the whole goddamn world with this thing.
After I get the rhino, I also get V1 and V2 achievement with the rhino. I also pick up the gold suck cannon V1, and the gold morph V2, gold decoy V2, gold mine glove V2, before picking up the gold devastator V1 and V2 achievements. I buy the last weapon, which is the gold Tesla, and get 2 achievements, one for getting it, and the other for holding all the gadget and gold weapons at once. I also grabbed the last 2 gold weapon kill achievements. And there's only one achievement that's stopping me from mastering this game. SMD. After reading the comment sections for this achievement and saw that a few new people got this achievement, in the meantime since I tried, I make my way back to face Drek. This would be the rubber match for my last achievement and mastery of this game. I prepared myself mentally for a long grind of this achievement, knowing how buggy it was and how I got screwed out of it last time, only to get it on my 3rd attempt this session. I honestly have no idea what I did differently this time around. I managed to get it with the last hit that sent him into this 3rd phase, which was a transition hit, which shouldn't counted. And also, I got 31 on the hit counter, and if the transition hits didn't count, it should only be 29. So I was really confused. After a moment of confusion, it finally dawned on me that I got the achievement and my first mastery on Retro Achievements. I'm glad I picked this game for the first game I got a mastery on, since it was a pretty simple platformer. The humor during the cutscenes was my kind of humor, since I was a teenager during the 2000s, and like I said in the beginning of the video, it does have quite the number of achievements, but a lot of them you'll get just by playing the game. So if you are thinking about getting into Retro Achievements, this would be a good one to try out first. Oh man, it took me so long to edit this video, since it's my first Retro Achievement style video, and arranging all 178 achievements took quite a bit, but I'm glad I did it. I even took a couple day break from editing this video to play the first Sly Cooper game on stream for Retro Achievements. So be on the lookout for that video, or maybe it's already out by the time you watch this one. Either way, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the flip side.